Hi, my name is Megan. Join me as we explore new places together, hike some trails, and enjoy this adventure outdoors. This past week, I was looking at my schedule for the next month or so, and I realized that today was really one of my only free days, that I have an entire morning and afternoon open to do a little mountain road trip. So I thought to myself, I think I'm gonna drive a little 5-hour loop around the mountains, try to catch some fall color today, and bring you guys along with me. I was supposed to have a friend joining me, but unfortunately she's feeling a little sick, so it's just us today. But I am very excited. I'm a little curious what the color is gonna look like once I get a little further north towards North Carolina, just because this past weekend we had a frost advisory warning. I don't know the official name for it, but there was frost. It was freezing down where I live, and I know I saw some pictures from up here in the mountains where it looked like a winter wonderland already. And at the time that I'm filming this, it's early November, so that is not typical for this time of year. Typically that is like a December thing when we see that, but I think that might, along with the high winds, have knocked off some of the color, so that it might impact what we see today, but I'm not letting that deter me from a fun day of play in the mountains. Currently, I'm up here on Black Rock Mountain. It is a state park in North Georgia, just outside of Clayton, and I had planned to get up here for sunrise, but in typical me fashion, I made myself a coffee. I took my sweet time this morning. I did not get off work. I was supposed to get off work at like midnight last night, but I got off work at 10 o'clock last night, so I didn't get a ton of sleep. And I knew I wanted to sleep before I drove a lot today. So we're here. It's still like, I got to see the sunrise as I was driving, so it was fine. But there's a couple overlooks here. I'm not doing a ton of hiking today. I'm mostly driving, going to overlooks, doing short little hikes and stuff. But there are a couple overlooks here that I want to bring you guys along to go and see and enjoy the view from and see how much fall color we can see. And then I think I'm gonna try to find a cafe for breakfast. I'm gonna keep going north from here, so maybe I can find something along the way. There's a ton of cute little places in Clayton, some which are not quite open yet, and some which I just don't want to drive back down south to get to. So maybe we can find something on the way towards North Carolina. I love when places have this. I still need to download the Peak Finder app, but this is Raven Bald, Georgia's second highest peak, straight in front of us here. And then Scaly Mountain is just over here. That is another really beautiful hike, and that is actually the direction of where we are heading next. So we'll drive kind of up along the valley and then kind of turn up that way, and North Carolina is all over here. Overlook number 3. Definitely still got some fall colors over here. All right, let's go find some breakfast. Oh y'all, we have found our breakfast spot. Yes. I got my sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit to go. That cafe was adorable. It was the small town cafe, honestly from like a Hallmark movie, where everyone is trying to talk to you and they're all like, good morning, hun. It was so cute. I definitely didn't want to film in there because it just, so many people in there, small town vibe. But I've brought my breakfast over here to Mud Creek Falls, which always feels like the most random place to get to because you have to drive through a golf course community and it feels wrong. Also, my GPS decided to forget where I was going, so I had to kind of feel my way a bit, but this waterfall is beautiful. I completely forgot to bring my tripod today, so you are very precariously set up on my water bottle. When I did this earlier, I almost dropped my water bottle down the mountain and had to go fetch it. So we'll see how this goes. There's no mountains to drop it down here, so I feel a bit better about that. This biscuit, it looks great. It looks exactly how I imagined it, and I'm very glad they gave me salt and pepper. Also, I know a lot of you guys on the AT were like, we don't want to watch you eat. Warning. Oh, this is about to fall. You're slowly sliding. I'm about to take a bite of this, so if you don't want to watch me eat, skip like 10 seconds. That is good. That is real good. I'm also very hungry, but it's good. I have a very serious question. It has come to my attention, especially from hiking part of the AT. A lot of people do not eat breakfast. I was raised to believe that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I don't know the science behind it, if I'm being perfectly honest, but I am curious to hear. Out of all of you who are watching this video, drop a comment down below. Do you eat breakfast, or do you prioritize eating breakfast? And if so, what is your go-to breakfast? I personally love a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit with turkey sausage, or I might do some like eggs and turkey sausage scramble. If I'm in a hurry, it's probably a protein bar and a yogurt bowl. So I think I'm gonna hike here a little bit, and then we'll head on to our next overlook spot, and then we'll head on to a coffee shop, which I really love. This path is a super easy, family-friendly trail. It's not incredibly popular, at least it hasn't been the times that I've been here. Parking can be a bit of a bear if there's more than, 4 people, just because it is, like I said, at the end of a golf club community. But it's beautiful. It is really nice. It's very peaceful. It's just 15 minutes northeast of Clayton. So super easy to get to. And this area is called Sky Valley. It's in Georgia technically, but you do have to cross the North Carolina border to get here. Blowing smoke, dragon mode activated. I do want to give a tiny bit of a life update in case you didn't see my last post that I made on YouTube. It literally is a post with a few pictures, not the video. The last video I made was going up McAfee for sunrise, so if you haven't watched that, please go check it out, give it some love. That was really awesome, pretty redemptive to get up there. I saw a bear earlier, actually, when I was driving. I don't think I told you guys that, so I'm kind of on the lookout now, because I am the only one on this trail. But, anywho, life updates. I had jury duty last week, which is why I did not put out a video, and now this week, over the next month, I am moving out of my storage unit. Yay! I've been so grateful to family who have just let me soft land at their place and crash in spare bedrooms and all of that, but I am really excited to have a place to call my own again. I'm moving into an apartment, and I am moving back to the Athens area, so that is exciting. I don't mind letting you guys know that. I think you can kind of guess that from my videos, to be perfectly honest. I went to UGA, went to school there, so I'm very familiar with the area, I lived like 30 minutes outside of there in a town called Colbert for several years. That's when I had my house. And I am just really excited to move back to the area and get settled in and all of that. By no means am I stopping adventuring. I just need to stop living out of a storage unit. It has been, to be perfectly honest, a very stressful season of life. So it'll be nice to have a place to land. But with that is a lot of logistics and a lot of physical getting things together, because quite literally, some of my stuff is at my sister's place, some of my stuff is at my mom's place, some of my stuff is at my grandma's place. So like the other day, I'm at my sister's house and I'm like, have you seen this frying pan? Like, I'm missing this frying pan. She's like, oh yeah, it's in our cupboard. I'm like, okay. So just moments like that where like there's something in someone's drawer or in someone's kitchen cabinet and I've got to gather and collect all of my stuff. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's just a little tidbit as to what I have been doing in the past couple of weeks. But I've got my pet sitting and farm sitting business full swing, booking into next year. And I am excited. I have some really exciting hiking things, adventures, and all of that for next year. And I'm not ready yet to announce what those are. I've dropped some hints. I don't know if y'all have picked up any of the hints that I've dropped, but I have some exciting plans, some of which are kind of getting finalized and some of which are in the dream stage. But I will be making videos from all those and possibly be making an announcement video in the coming months, but I don't know. I might just appear somewhere and say hello. Also, who lives there? That's incredible. But that's my rambly life update for you. And now back to the fall. Ooh! To the fall foliage. I think it's fair to say it is a bit washed out. Yesterday was leg day at the gym, so I did a lot of squats and lunges. I actually just started a half marathon training block. I'll be running a half in January. And I'm feeling it a little bit on the uphills. One of the things I'm trying to be really intentional about is goal setting. And I think I've mentioned this before, but one of the things I miss most from the Appalachian Trail is having a very defined goal to work towards every day. The sun is so bright, but I want to finish what I'm saying. I miss having that defined goal every day. And realistically, that is not something I can just recreate in life. Like, I am not physically walking towards a direction with a very defined end goal. However, I will say half marathon training has definitely helped with that, because now I am working towards a very specific end goal. Oh, this is very muddy. Okay. But I've created this kind of guideline for each week where I try to limit myself to only eating out twice a week. Doesn't always happen, especially with my job. I try to be intentional about having at least one social time. And I know you're like, what in the world? One social time per week? I'm not talking about like accidental meetups or like running into someone or socializing when I'm at one of my jobs. I'm talking about like an intentional friend hour phone call or coffee hangout or something like that, because it can be very easy for me to, as an introvert, let a week slip by and I have not intentionally had time with someone. So that's another one. Eating healthy, hanging out with friends. And then my other one is honestly trying to get out on some kind of hike at least once a week. And with the training, I'm getting out, but I want to make sure I'm hiking, which it could be biking too. I want to be on an actual trail. My half marathon is not a trail run. It's actually a road race, which is kind of crazy. But we'll see how it goes. I am about 0.2 away from the car. I can hear the falls up here, and we're gonna head on to our next spot. This is a look from the car view, but actually if you wanted to climb up Scaly Mountain, the trail is just over there and you get a much better view of this area, but I don't really have time or the energy to do that today. So we're gonna head over to one of my favorite coffee shops, Buck's Coffee in Cashiers. Or Cashiers. I don't really know how to say it. I have always said it Cashiers, which I think is really southern. And someone corrected me and said Cashiers one time. So I don't know, but we're going there and I'm going to read my book for a little bit and then we'll carry on with the rest of our day. Welcome to Highlands. Super cute, super quaint, very expensive. So we're driving right on through. We made it. And you know what they say, backdoor guests are always best. Back in the car and ready to continue on the adventure. Unfortunately, my coffee shop reading time was cut just a little bit short due to some children who the parents had no concern with whatever they did. They were screaming and running around in circles around the coffee shop for 10 minutes. That's how long they were doing it before I left. They're probably still going, but it just seems like they had a lack of situational awareness, that people were having quiet conversations and working, and they might have needed to go outside. Like, it's beautiful outside now. But anyway, nothing, no shade on like people who are taking their kids out anywhere. I know, you know, sometimes they might have a temper tantrum or a meltdown, and I understand that. However, this seemed to be just complete lack of concern of what the children were doing. So I came back to my car and I've decided it is time to head over to Silver Run Falls, which is only about a 10-minute drive from here. I do remember the parking situation being a little interesting. I think it's like just park on the highway. The hike to Silver Run is not far at all. I mean, it's just, you know, maybe 200, 300 meters if I'm remembering correctly. So we've got that, and then I'm hoping to make 2 or 3 more stops along the way, and that should put me back around 4 p.m.-ish back home, so right on time. So let's keep on adventuring. Very surprisingly, I'm the only one here. The parking is literally just on the side of the highway. It's a little crazy getting in here. I think this is the second or third time I've hiked to this waterfall with coffee from Bucks, so I'm just gonna make it a fall tradition at this point. This is the most water I have ever seen in Silver Run. Usually it's just a little trickle. Also, usually you can walk on these rocks. This is nice. I love the way the sunlight just dances on the water. Is that not just the most magical thing ever? I pulled myself out of my moment of zen. I just sat there for about 30 minutes. So relaxing. The sound of the water, feeling of the sun on my skin. Honestly, I find that more relaxing and refreshing than going to the spa, but maybe that's a hot take. A lot of the leaves are already off the trees down here. It is crazy how much the wind and the frost this past weekend really shook things up. How neat is that? This quite possibly is one of my favorite overlooks. I added 30 minutes to the drive home just so that I could see this. I mean, stunning. Also, in case you like history, this is the highway. Okay. And in case you like people who build a frame to frame the already framed by trees landscape, here you go. We're here at our last stop of the day. I just paid my $5 park entry because I'm in South Carolina. I have a Georgia State Park pass, so that will not work here. We are here at Stumphouse Tunnel. Here's the history. You can pause and read if you want to. More frames for your photos. Got the back here blocked off. This is as far as I can go. Turn around. It's kind of creepy in here. I just moved my car down here to the trailhead for Issaqueena Falls. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but I think it's about 0.6 miles round trip to go over to the waterfall. I met 3 other hikers over at the tunnel who were also about to come over here, so I will probably be running into them on my way back up. They're really sweet. One of them's from South Carolina, which is where I'm at right now, and then I didn't catch where the other 2 are from, but we're all just enjoying the fall foliage. I think I'm here. Well, there it is. I can go down there. And I will. Beautiful. We are almost there. Alright, I've enjoyed my time down here, but it is time to climb back up there. Remember when I said yesterday was leg day? Regrets. Well, I filmed a closeout over by the falls and filmed it in slow motion. So let me try that again. Thank you so much for coming along for today's mountain adventure. It is currently, oh, I need to stop my activity. It is currently 2 p.m. I have about an hour and a half, I think, to get home from here. So I should be home before 4, just in time to grab some dinner. I think I'm gonna stop by Ingles on the way to have something to tie me over until dinner because I brought popcorn, but I'm a little more hungry than popcorn hungry. I'm gonna put the itinerary of the route I did today down in the video description if you're interested in doing a similar route. If you live in North Georgia, it is a perfect fall route to drive for the day. It might be a little too much driving for some of you, but for me, it's under 5 hours, so perfect. But I'm going to get on the road again. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I will see you all in the next Adventure Outdoors. Bye!